Iberia, ravaged by the bloody tides of war, kings and sultans, dukes and emirs. Adversity makes for strange bedfellows, my friend. And you must read carefully if you are to decide the fate of Iberia.
I have achieved what my father had only ever dreamed of, independence. I am free from Franconian vassalage, although I know my dealings with them are far from over. My wife, and now soulmate, has also provided me with 5 children, including twins, a son and a daughter, thus securing a valid heir for my realm. Now, there are many things that need tending to. I can fully immerse myself in contributing to this Iberian struggle. How I will go about it, though, that's something we shall see. Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to yet another episode of Crusader Kings 3 and our role-playing continuing as DUKE Guifré The Second. This episode is being recorded very close after the first one. In fact, it hasn't even been released to anyone, and that's because there are some things I have to take care of and I wanted to get it done today. So know that the comments in episode 10 will not be considered for this episode. I will take them into consideration in conjuncture with episode 11 if they are valid. So that way when we get to episode 12, we're all in the good now. So just know that this is a little bit of a different shakeup from various reasons in real life. However though, if you want to support this channel, the best way that you can do so is you can give it a like, you can sub to the channel, turn on those notifications. It does help, believe it or not, for the YouTube algorithm, and also leave your comments because again, I do appreciate all of them and all of that support. If you want to go above and beyond, you can become a YouTube member or you can become a patron on Patreon. Both of those will get you a name inside the game and also early access the day before it goes out to the public. It is not ever required, but it would be absolutely amazing if you chose to support that way. We have a lot we have to accomplish today, so I'm going to put my roleplay face on and we'll dive back into DUKE Guifré The Second's story. It's a strange thing finally being independent. All I have known throughout my entire life, whether it was my father ruling or myself, is that there's always been someone above me. Now, only God stands there. To be away from the Frankish court is something I will gladly do and finally be able to think for myself, to not have to worry about the actions of someone above me, whether or not I am allowed to do something or things of that nature. The world has just been opened up in a way that just simply wasn't possible before. But that doesn't mean it's going to get any easier. Tarragona will be a pickle and a half to try and control. But it doesn't mean that we are out of luck. In fact, our goals now are to try and take Syracuse, as much of it as we can. Holding Barcelona and then Syracuse will then allow me to enable the grandest thing that the Barcelona family can possibly do, and that is ignite the Kingdom of Aragon. However, I still have very many things that we can do. For instance, Aquitaine. We can now go to war with them if we so choose. I would love to take back this. Part of the progression in the Iberian conquest is that I can use the Iberian Reclamation. The Iberian Reclamation essentially says that there are involved or uninvolved or interloper rulers that hold a duchy that contains involved counties. And as such, I have a cause, a case, rather cheaply I might add, to take back the entirety of the Duchy of Mallorca. That would be very good. Now we're not going to do this right now simply because I do need to build up my coffers. No longer being a steward means that I kind of have to focus on the realm in other ways. And the barony of Tarragona could certainly contribute quite a bit, but again, we have to build up that control, and it will take a little bit. 5 years. I'm a patient man. While we could certainly engage that before, let's just see how things play out as I poke around and see what I can't do inside the Iberian Peninsula. As I'm attempting to learn Italian, just so I can try and sway Lothair in the future, the lure of poetry arises. Spiced Wine by the Lake by Reynald of Martagris. Truly a great collection of Droll Vulgar poetry. A most peculiar villain. Some men simply make all others queasy, their features awkward, their breathing wheezy. When such a man is seen to exist, it's pretty obvious destiny's pissed. Perhaps I should try my hand at poetry too. There is quite the good chance that I will become a poet. I do find myself quite talented. Now, as a poet, I gain diplomacy per level of fame. Stress loss increases, my monthly prestige increases, and my personal scheme success chances increase. And no sooner do I become a poet than my ward Burrell, my nephew, has come of age, and it's time that he left my care. He has shown great aptitude both in battle tactics and the management of armies. He will make a fine commander one day. Absolutely, he is a skilled tactician and a reaver. He has a decent amount of prowess. Until we meet again, well, we shall meet again. Burrell, you will become one of my 7 knights. Absolutely. Now, you're still young. We should marry you off. And I think I found the perfect spouse. Chrysigone Engores. She's Greek Orthodox, unfortunately. We won't hold that against her, though. She is quite beautiful, which means her fertility will increase. Hopefully, Burrell de Barcelona and Chrysigone will have many babies and further our family through loads and loads of living members. That's the hope, anyways. We will definitely do this. She will accept. Absolutely. She is marrying up. There's nothing out of the way, out of the ordinary with that. And there she is. She's also a pretty decent diplomat on top of that. Not too shabby. I hope you have many, many children together and that you live quite happily. This does bring up a couple of things. For one, I have an open ward slot. And who better than my player, heir, and son? Absolutely. Now, he is gifted in pretty much every art, and he's only 2, so we don't yet know where we could educate him towards. However, I think for now, we're going to push him towards a martial education. By doing so, it will allow us to potentially make a good warrior king, much like my father was. Well, he was a warrior duke. But considering the playing field, after consolation comes compromise. And with compromise, things become significantly difficult. I still say we do it. Nope, we'll lead him towards martial. Unless the council says otherwise, we'll keep it there. However, my wife, who is also brilliant, has no wards. So she will take on Christopher. And she will take on Judith. She is also pregnant. Are we about to have a 6th child? Perhaps a 7th on top of that? We will definitely see. This house is about to become quite rowdy. That I have no doubts. It seems the fates don't want me to learn Doyle Vulgar. Perhaps that's a sign. Perhaps I should focus instead on the Iberian Peninsula. That doesn't mean I am unaware of the outside world. Absolutely not. But I will admit defeat. And to celebrate, I decided to have a drink in my hall. But by God, this party is boring. Sunyer, who is my courtier, has got to be the worst host this world has ever seen. How can mortal men be expected to endure this snoring celebration of mediocrity? My eyes cast about the room looking for a diversion, any diversion. Musin, who is my brother-in-law, gives me a friendly wave. In the corner, Aziz stares daggers at me. I've got to do something to stop this evening dragging. I'm not exactly sure what Emir Aziz is doing in my realm, but you know what? I wouldn't mind forming a rivalry. I do need to conquer his land, so anything I can push him into making a mistake I think would be pretty top tier. Hey Aziz, you want to hear what I really think of you? And he rages back. He becomes my rival. That is perfect. I'm not afraid to shy away from a rivalry. I do need to be a little bit more cautious though. But the rivalry stands as it is. We should be able to have a lot of fun. I could send him a poem. No, we won't worry about that. Oh goodness, yes, a rivalry indeed. This is gonna be fun. It's one thing to potentially look the other way when someone has been unfaithful going against our Catholic religion, when they're outside of your realm. But within your realm, it's less understandable. A secret truth has reached the light of day. My vassal, Countess Elicinda, has had an affair with her lover, Bernat Gwillem. I do not see what the fuss is about. It's not as if lust is unnatural affliction. I don't know about that. Perhaps that's the more secular courtiers whispering in my ears. No. This crime cannot go unpunished. We will imprison Countess Elicinda. It is very unfortunate. She will gain the trait, both of them will gain the trait fornicator. They will both lose one level of devotion, and unfortunately opinion will go down, but there's nothing else that we can do. Absolutely not. It's no secret that my vassal is carrying a child, conceived through a sinful union. She's not a married woman. However, who fathered the child has been a mystery until now. It is Bernat Gwillem. We now need a new steward, unfortunately. We don't have anyone who is really that great. You know what? I think it may be time to see if I have any unmarried courtiers who could bring in someone of a more fashionable and relative design. Well, as it turns out, there's no one terribly more suitable than Baron Theodorizian. However, he's currently my chancellor. I am going to reassign him, though, leaving my chancellorship open. But who else than my powerful vassal, Mayor Droll of Olot? They could take up the reins and definitely do a smidgen better than even Baron could. It's not ideal whatsoever, but unfortunately we simply don't have many options, none that would be terribly worth it. Oh, Inigwin, you have been so brave and yet so strong once again. I have another son. Who will you become, my child? I will call you Napoleon. You will be strong and wise. I have 6 children. 6 children. 3 sons, 3 daughters. Well done. Well done, Inigwin. Very well done. I've always gotten along with my brother-in-law, Sheikh Salahuddin, so it's really no surprise when I received a letter. To the sensible Duke Guifré of Barcelona. Guifré, my brother, my companion, my confidant. Will you join me in declaring our friendship to be the truest and brightest in all the world, with all the debts of loyalty that entails? If I accept, gains 50 opinion, becomes best friend, we get a strong hook on each other. I won't deny him, absolutely not. Let's close this friendship and announce it officially. Best friend. All right, and we both get strong hooks on each other, to which we could use immediately. We obviously won't, but still. He accepts enthusiastically, which is absolutely fantastic. Welcome, my brother-in-law. You have truly become family. You have truly become one of my best friends. I believe it's finally time. The Iberian reclamation against Aquitaine. The Duchy of Mallorca. We outnumber almost 2-1. We will gain all of the contested counties. And it will cost me a simple piety and a very, very simple prestige. I will call in my allies immediately. It will tank my prestige, but it will be okay. I think it's going to be the best thing for us. Declared war. I will call all 3 of my allies. I cannot call my brother since he is actually under the liege, and it is honestly his lands. I'm going to wait for confirmations before rousing my own armies. There's 1 ally. There's 2 ally. There's 3. Let's raise our levies. And let's move. But not before I learn a lesson. My court tutor, Ermengarda, has been aiding me day and night in my efforts to learn Iberian Vulgar. Her dedication to the art of teaching is inspirational. There's not a day where I'm not brought an Iberian Vulgar letter to read, a learned Artesian man to converse with, I butchered that, or an extraordinary mnemonic rhyme. Truly, not be this far. Absolutely, we'll pay her 10 gold. 100%. No, absolutely. It's the least I can do. And now, we move to Mallorca. It's been years and years of hard work and dedication, but research has finally pulled through. We have learned plenary assemblies, which means I'm allowed to push into the next limited crown authority law. I won't do that yet, although it will be very beneficial. We'll do it after the war. But next, what we are going to do is we are going to push into public works, which allows us to increase the development limit. It will only take a mere year before we can get into something just a little more intense. A couple of things have happened. For one, I have actually learned Iberian Vulgar. I tried to emulate Queen Eva Alfonso of Castile's accent. If I send a letter, there's a good chance that she'll gain an increased opinion of me. That has not happened. Regardless, I've learned the language. But my alliance with Emir Ayyub ibn Yusuf of Tula. But unfortunately, my alliance with Emir Ayyub ibn Yusuf of Tula has ended, since Duke Radolf Radis and Mariam Kudamid are no longer married or betrothed. And that is because Radis has died. It's a very unfortunate thing. And that does knock us out just a little bit, but the victory is made all that much sweeter, knowing that I can take away the lands that were officially his, but it's not actually his anymore. So I don't necessarily feel the guilt. DUKE Guifré The Second, my nephew, why would you name it after me? That doesn't make much sense. Anyways, we need to move on to the barony of Minorca, and I believe we will have to make landfall and take Carcassonne or some of these Montpellier in order to fulfill the war. And unfortunately, I am about to go into debt. Well, this is rather unexpected. Emir Kamran ibn Muhammad of Valencia. I've heard good things about you, and I'm interested in starting a written conversation. I hope that this letter finds you willing, for I am awaiting your swift reply. And while we're waiting on the siege down in Mallorca, my daughter, Ermengarda de Barcelona, has finally come of age. Hardly studious though, she's at least managed to memorize certain choice quotes. She'll probably never write anything great. She might read one or two. They do grow up fast, and of course that does mean that she can marry. We need to find her a spouse worth marrying. We're going to bring in Herluin de Mayenne, who's the son of Baron Savary. He's French. Told you we weren't done with the French. But as a Herculean physical trait, the lad is built to be a knight and has built to build a strong line. We will definitely do that. Good deal. We have a small alliance. It's not with anyone of great renown at all. But regardless, Herluin is now, well, will be my knight once he comes of age. He is still a bit too young, and they are betrothed, but I think we found a pretty suitable match for our daughter. We've discovered the fascination works. We are cruising through these things. The question is now. I say we go after caballeros. These are light cav. They counter archers. They have some excellent screening, pursuit skills. It'll take about 24 years. Hopefully, I can live older to be than my father, so I could see this come to fruition. Absolutely. And now that the islands have been secured, it's time to move to the mainland, where I believe Montpellier would be the ideal place to do our landing. Oh, actually, no. Let's stick closer to home, which would be Carcassonne. My allies have taken the barony of Carcassonne, the siege, the barony of Béziers as well, so it makes sense if I move on to Montpellier. My allies are taking care of everything, and now we have some religious refugees. Emir Aziz rules over nearby Sheikhdom of Sobrarba, which is home to a large number of devout Catholics. The Ashari Emir could easily persecute the faithful Catholics living there. It's my responsibility to protect them. We could get an unpressed claim on the Sheikhdom of Sobrarba. We could smuggle as many Christians out as possible. No. We will get the unpressed claim. Well, looky here. If it isn't King Godefroy of Aquitaine. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I can't do anything with him. Oh, because I did not actually capture him. However, that does allow me to push the claim, which works for me. We're in debt enough. We get all of those things. Count Radus, my nephew. He will become my vassal. I gain 150 fame. I share 75 prestige, with my allies. And everyone goes home happy. To the loathsome Duke Guifré. May your humors rot in your living body. You are a much greater foe than I imagined. In order to put it into this bloodshed, I will comply with your demands. Brilliant. Now, we are over our limits. I'm not supposed to take Palma. And I think I'm going to gift it to Borrell de Barcelona, who is my nephew and knight. It will absolutely secure everything he needs to become landed and go forth and do all the things. He's not the best at money. Neither is his wife, but that's okay. That gets me out of a pickle and a half. Ooh. Pancratios Callistos. Oh. I see. I do believe Ermesinda was wanting that. I fear she may have left. I could invite her to court. I really need Pancratios back. It's a little bit of a whoopsies on my end. We'll see if we can't give her something back. At a future date, absolutely. Pancratios, thank you very much. My Chancellor, nope, you will stay out. There we go. All right, so the County of Mallorca is ours. I don't have to do anything. And we've expanded our lands. I could do several things. Negotiate? No. He is not enough to do anything. However, I could get Count Radulf de Radis to give me more. I think we will. Any more vassals would certainly help. And I can create the Duchy of Mallorca. I would need to give it away though, and I'm not quite sure how that works just yet. I can designate a guardian for Zemia, who is my daughter. Absolutely. Absolutely. You will come underneath my wing. And my opinion with the Pope has increased so well that I could spend a little bit of piety and get myself out of debt. I will do that, absolutely. Very nice. And you know what? Let's learn his language. Perhaps learning Vulgar, I do believe it is Italian Vulgar, would be greatly appreciated and go away towards getting in with the papacy. You never know how well that could work out for us. I'm pretty excited, to be completely honest. I think it'll work out great. I think it's time to do a couple of realm level things. For one, I think we're going to pass the limited crown authority. This means that titles can be revoked, vassals can be retracted, and I think a bunch of several much more fantastic things, which does ultimately boost my kingdom up. I'm afraid that my brother-in-law, Sheikh Salahadin, is about to get a letter in the mail. A letter to his court asking the same thing as I just sent off. A letter not a week earlier, asking if we could aid each other in matters of experience and training. If we do this, we will get +3 diplomacy and a stress gain increase for any stress-related events. You know what? I'll accept, absolutely. More than happy to take that. And then, of course, I'm working on the Sheikhdom of Aquitaine. We will press it, putting us slightly in debt for just a small brief period of time. It was only meant to be a short outing. A pleasant tour of the countryside, but now it's been days since we saw another living person. Our supplies are long since gone. We've already eaten the horse. Our guide promises we'll reach civilization within the week, but some of the servants are already at their limit. My stomach growls louder for every hour that passes. If I did this, I would get starved, which would be a penalty. But I cannot consume human flesh. We'll weather this. We will weather this. Oh, very, very nice. My daughter, Ermengarda, has given birth to a son. Since the little one is part of the de Barcelona dynasty, he should be blessed with a good name. Frederick is indeed a good name. I am absolutely okay with that. Well done, Ermengarda. I am very, very pleased with you. Very pleased indeed. Why would I imprison her? Absolutely not. No, that is dumb. May you grow strong and wise as always. Once again, a small slip of paper gets nonchalantly placed in my hand as we pass in the hallway with 3 words yet again, yet 3 words I had hoped to never hear. It is you. There is a plot against me. We will stop the villain behind this. We need to push Antha into a disrupt schemes mode. Is there someone better suited that would be able to work this? No, there is not. However, my wife, Duchess Inigwin, is also quite the intrigue lady. So we will put her into court intrigue in hopes that both of these can be a countering force. Oh, who would want to kill me? I know several people who'd want to kill me, actually, if we really think about it. But who would dare try and actually pull that string to go through with it? But amidst the terrifying news of being starved and amidst the terrifying news that someone's out to get my head, I have learned the language of Pope Martinus II, Italian Vulgar. I tried using his accent. I will send a letter. A dishonest mockery. That is very unfortunate. I do believe we are going to have to sway him. Regardless, I've learned a language, and that's pretty daggum cool. My daughter, Ximena, has been impressed with one of the household knights. After finally meeting in person, she's been repeating the warrior's words to herself. Greatness comes in time. Be there to grasp it when it does. She gains patient. Brilliant. I love it. Well done, child. My spouse has really taken up the intrigue ideology. Count Paul is coming to Barcelona to pay me tribute. However, Duchess Inigwin suggests that a military display would ensure continued loyalty. Seeing your overwhelming might would make anyone think twice of treason if it ever crossed their mind. This is actually a really good idea. A cowed vassal loses marshal. But how do I know that it's not Paul himself who's trying to assassinate me? No, a regular parade will suffice. All I wanted to do was have a family-friendly meal. Invite everyone from across the realm and otherwise to come visit. We haven't seen each other in a decently long while. But my sister, Chakia Nemilde, has been quarreling with my other sister, Macinda, for days. Unbelievable, Nemilde shouts. How can a witch like you believe you are the ideal manifestation of de Barcelona family? I am clearly far more deserving. I'm going to try and break this up. As I walk into the room, Nemilda turns to face me. I'm glad you're here, Guifre. Won't you please talk some sense into your sister, Ermengarda? She's being completely unreasonable. I think you're both acting like petulant children. Apparently, my sister Nemilda took that a little too terribly. No, actually, she was wounded. And unfortunately, she tried to seek treatment, and it failed, which resulted in her death. This hits doubly hard. Not only did I lose my sister, but she was an important key to an alliance with my brother-in-law Sheikh Salahuddin, who is also my best friend. What he will do now, I honestly don't know. But I'm wondering if I couldn't put my niece into his care. He would essentially become no longer a brother-in-law. I guess he would still remain so. Oh, what a terrible way to die. But at the same time, that is an alliance that I would love to keep, if possible. I could do the same thing here. I think since it's my niece, I would be willing to forego this. We'll send that proposal to gain that. We will leave my, I guess, ex-brother-in-law to be. We are still best friends. There's certainly no reason why we couldn't remain so. I've lost now 2 family members. My family is getting much older. Honestly, I'm not that well off myself. Have I done enough for my realm? Have I done enough to secure the next line? Do I need to push myself, my dynasty, as far as I can? Will I end suddenly like my father? A little bit of a midlife crisis, undoubtedly so. Going to war now would not be beneficial for us. Perhaps there's another route that we can push into this? I'm honestly not quite sure. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be it for this chapter in Duke Guifré II's life. It's a bit of a standstill. Wars are expensive. Everything is much more expensive. But we can certainly build up our realm, and indeed is what we might look to in the next chapter. It's a little bit of a lull. But I hope that you will stick through it, because as always, it does tend to get more interesting in one way or another. And I do thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. Like I said, that's the end of this part. If you enjoyed any part of it, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications. We will continue this series. For as long as necessary, I do want to form the Kingdom of Aragon indeed. Hopefully you are enjoying this series though. And as I mentioned in the intro, if you are listening to this, this is a little bit ahead of schedule. I simply wanted to carve out some time while I had it. That does mean a little bit of a shorter episode. It does mean that I don't take episode 10's comments into consideration for this one, but we will try and pull together all of the comments for episode 11. So be on the lookout for that. Guys, once again, thank you for watching. This is Havoc. I'll see you in the next roleplay episode.
Iberia, ravaged by the bloody tides of 4 kings and sultans, dukes and emirs. Adversity makes for strange bedfellows, my friend. And you must tread carefully if you are to decide the fate of Iberia.